So, you want to own a five-star hotel, a place where guests pay $1,000 a night, where the lobby looks like a palace, and every room feels like a money-making machine. Sounds like the perfect business. But here's the strange part. Some luxury hotels make millions of dollars in revenue every year and still struggle to make a profit. How is that possible? If guests are paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars per night, then where does all the money go? And if the business is so difficult, why do billionaires keep buying hotels? Because the real business of a five-star hotel is not what most people think. And to uncover how it all works, we have to start with the single biggest number in the entire business: the staggering price of admission. There are two ways into this game. You either build a new hotel from the ground up or you buy an existing one. Both are astronomically expensive. Building from scratch means first acquiring several acres of the most expensive real estate on the planet. Prime downtown or beachfront property can cost tens, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars before a single shovel hits the dirt. Then comes the construction itself. For a luxury hotel, developers don't talk about cost per square foot. They talk about the cost per key. A single hotel room, from concrete to carpets and furnishings, can cost anywhere from $750,000 to over $1.5 million. Multiply that by 300 rooms, and you are spending nearly $500 million on the guest rooms alone. Of course, that price doesn't include the grand lobby, the Michelin-starred restaurant, the world-class spa, the conference centers, or the multiple swimming pools. By the time the first guest checks in, a new-build luxury hotel can easily represent a total investment north of $1 billion. Buying an existing iconic hotel is no cheaper. When the Waldorf Astoria in New York was sold, the price was $1.95 billion. You're not just buying a building, you're buying a brand, a history, and every single problem that comes with an aging structure. This is a level of investment played almost exclusively by global funds, private equity giants, and real estate investment trusts, or REITs. These are real estate professionals who happen to be in the hospitality business, not the other way around. A critical distinction we'll come back to. Now, let's say you've acquired your property. This is where the real war begins. The daily, relentless assault on your bank account from operating costs. The single largest expense, without question, is labor. A five-star experience is built by people, and you need an army of them. In a standard hotel, the staff-to-guest ratio might be one staff member for every 5 or 6 rooms. In a true luxury hotel, that ratio is often 2 or even 3 staff members for every single guest. You need doormen, valets, bellhops, and a highly trained concierge team that can secure impossible theater tickets. You need a massive housekeeping department, a full engineering crew on site 24/7, multiple shifts of front desk staff, security, and a small army of chefs and servers. Because the hotel never closes, you're running 3 separate businesses stacked on top of each other in 8-hour shifts. Labor alone can consume nearly 50 cents of every single dollar the hotel earns. Next comes the invisible giant, utilities. Keeping thousands of square feet of lobby space perfectly climate-controlled, lighting hundreds of rooms, heating multiple pools, and running commercial kitchens generates an energy bill that can exceed $1 million a year. On top of that, a 5-star hotel launders thousands of pounds of high-quality linens and towels every single day, creating enormous water costs. Then there are the supplies, the death by 1,000 cuts. You're not buying standard soap, you're buying designer toiletries that cost several dollars per tiny bottle. You're not using standard sheets, you're using 800 thread count Egyptian cotton linens that are incredibly expensive to replace. The fresh flowers in the lobby alone can be $1,000 a week line item. Every amenity that signals luxury is a recurring, non-negotiable expense. The core business everyone thinks about is renting rooms. The profitability here is measured by a single metric: RevPAR, or revenue per available room. This is a blend of your occupancy rate, the percentage of rooms you have filled, and your average daily rate, what you charge for them. You can have the most expensive rooms in the city, but if your occupancy is only 50%, you are losing a fortune. Half of your rooms are just sitting there, costing you money in property taxes and utilities without generating a single dollar. And what about that fancy restaurant? The food and beverage department Or F&B is almost never the profit center you'd imagine. High-end restaurants have brutally thin margins due to the cost of world-class chefs, exotic ingredients, and highly trained staff. In many cases, the flagship restaurant is a loss leader. It's designed to generate buzz and prestige, even if it barely breaks even. It's a marketing expense masquerading as a restaurant. So, if the startup costs are astronomical, the daily operating costs are relentless, and the main businesses are a tightrope walk, where is the real money hiding? Here's where it gets interesting, because the true profit centers are in the places you'd least expect. The first is the most boring room in the building, the ballroom. The events and banqueting department is the hotel's cash cow. A single corporate conference or a lavish wedding can generate more profit in one weekend than the main restaurant does in a month. For a conference, you have guaranteed guests, fixed menus, and high-margin equipment rentals. For a wedding, you're selling multi-hundred-dollar per plate packages and extremely profitable open bars. The ballroom isn't just a room, it's a machine that turns empty space into pure profit. The second hidden engine is ancillary fees. These are the small charges added to your bill. Valet parking can be nearly $100 a day, most of which is profit. The resort fee, a mandatory daily charge, is almost 100% profit. And the minibar is a classic example. A can of soda that costs the hotel 50 cents is sold for $10. These small charges from hundreds of guests add up to millions in revenue that flows directly to the bottom line. But the real secret, the reason the ultra-wealthy invest in these properties, has almost nothing to do with the day-to-day business. The ultimate profit center is the building itself. A five-star hotel is, at its core, a real estate play. The operational profit might be just a few percent a year, but the underlying asset, the physical building and the land it sits on in the heart of London or New York, is appreciating in value by tens of millions annually. The hotel's operation is simply the mechanism to service the massive debt on an enormous, appreciating real estate asset. The owner isn't playing for the 5% annual profit. They are playing for the 50% increase in the property's value over a decade. They are not hotel operators, they are real estate investors who own a hotel. This entire model, however, is incredibly fragile. It faces existential threats from every direction, the biggest being the economy. Luxury travel is the first thing people and businesses cut during a recession. Occupancy rates can plummet, but the massive fixed costs of labor and utilities don't go down. Then there are the online travel agencies like Expedia, which can fill rooms but take a commission of 15% to 25% of your revenue right off the top. And in the world of five-star luxury, reputation is everything. A handful of bad reviews can do catastrophic damage to a brand that took decades to build. So, does owning a five-star hotel actually work as a business? The optimistic scenario is this. You own an iconic property in a world-class city. The economy is strong, travel is booming, and your occupancy is consistently over 80%. Your ballroom is booked with high-paying corporate clients 2 years in advance. While you're making a healthy operating profit, the real estate value of your property is climbing even faster. You are a successful real estate magnate with a glamorous, cash-flowing asset. The realistic scenario is this. You are locked in a brutal price war with 5 other luxury hotels in a 3-block radius. Online travel agencies are eating your margins. A minor downturn has caused your corporate bookings to vanish. You're spending millions on renovations just to keep up with the newer, trendier hotel down the street. Your daily operation is barely breaking even, and you're counting on the long-term appreciation of the real estate to make the investment worthwhile. A 5-star hotel looks from the outside like a palace, a business of selling dreams. From the inside, it's a high-stakes real estate investment, where the profit from one wedding is quietly covering the losses of the fancy restaurant, and the entire glittering operation is just a way to pay the mortgage on a building you hope will be worth a fortune 20 years from now. The room was never the real product. The building was.